Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. Today we're going to dive into something called shed hunting. Now, for a lot of people, that phrase might just, bring up images of a winter walk, maybe stumbling across an old bone in the woods.
Yeah, that's probably the common picture.
Right. It often happens between, say, January and March, kind of bridging that gap after the fall deer season. But, and this is what we want to unpack today, for the real enthusiasts, the dedicated folks, it's so much more than just looking for an antler.
It really is.
So our mission here is to peel back those layers, get past the surface and understand the strategy, the motivation, the connection behind it all. We're going to uncover some things that might surprise you, challenge that idea of just, walking around for hours to find a bone.
hmm And you've hit on something important there. It's fascinating, actually, how an activity that seems so maybe niche from the outside
hmm
is actually deeply woven into the whole lifestyle for these hunters. The planning, the strategy, it's all connected.
Totally. It's not just a random hobby that pops up once a year.
Not at all. For many, it's part of a year-round thing, a commitment.
Absolutely. So when we think about let's call them the diehards during this time, January, February, March, they're not necessarily thinking about hitting the ski slopes or planning their spring fishing trips, right?
Probably not their first thought, no.
Their minds are somewhere else. They're picturing, like our source says, visions of a bright white glimmer laying in a cut cornfield.
Just thinking about seeing that white antler against the brown stubble, you can almost feel their, heartbeat picking up.
Oh yeah, that anticipation is real.
It's this unique kind of satisfaction. Finding one of those is what keeps them coming back, walking miles and miles year after year. It's a different kind of treasure hunt.
It absolutely is. And the timing you mentioned, January to March, that's not arbitrary. It's crucial.
Okay, why specifically then?
Well, it lines up perfectly with deer biology. After the rut, the breeding season, a buck's testosterone levels drop off. And that drop causes the tissue connecting the antler to the skull, the pedicle, to weaken. Ah, okay. So it's a natural process.
Exactly. Eventually that connection breaks down and the antlers just fall off. They're shit.
So it's not just luck finding one. You need to know when this is happening.
Precisely. And not just when, but where. You need to understand where deer are spending their time after the rut in that late winter period. Their patterns shift.
Gotcha. So it takes timing, knowledge of the deer, knowledge of the land. It's not just aimless walking.
Far from it.
Which I guess brings us right to the big question for you listening. Why? Why do people pour hours upon hours into this, walking in the cold, sometimes finding nothing? What's the real payoff for what looks like just a bone? Okay, let's try and unpack this a bit. Our source material puts it quite clearly. It suggests it's more about the dedication, hard work, and capital, and maybe capital means time and energy too, that hunters invest in their sport in the outdoors all year long.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It's an investment showing a deeper commitment.
It's not just a casual thing.
Exactly. And if you think about the broader hunting world, shed hunting isn't really separate for a lot of serious hunters. It's just part of the process.
Our bigger picture.
Yeah. It connects directly to that hope, that hopeful opportunity to release an arrow at a mature whitetail during the fall. It's like staying engaged, keeping your finger on the pulse of what's happening on the land you hunt.
So it's year-round thinking.
It is. That capital we mentioned, it's not just money for gear or leases, though that's part of it. It's also the time, the energy, the sweat equity put into scouting, learning the terrain, watching the animals. Shed hunting becomes a very tangible way to extend that effort, to stay connected when the main season's closed.
Makes sense. And hey, let's not forget the little bonus our source mentions. It's actually a pretty good way to work off all those calories from the Christmas season. Get outside, get moving after the holidays.
Huh. There's that. Definitely a good bit of exercise involved. Miles of walking, often over rough ground.
But okay, beyond the exercise and just the thrill of finding an antler, there's a really critical strategic layer here, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. This is where it gets really interesting for the dedicated hunter.
It's about postseason scouting. And the source says this kind of scouting could make all the difference in the world when trying to get within the bow range of your target buck later in the year.
It's potentially game-changing information.
So shed hunting is framed as the perfect way to do this scouting, almost like the ultimate scouting mission. You're out there looking for sheds, yes, but you're doing so much more. You're gathering intel.
Precisely. You're collecting data points that can shape your entire approach for the next hunting season.
How does that work exactly? What are you looking for besides the antlers?
Well, the source uses this great analogy, Shed. Hunting acts like a teacher. It will take you to places that you have never been or forgotten about on your property. It forces you to cover ground, often areas you might not walk during hunting season.
Okay, so it pushes you into new spots.
Right. And in doing so, it teaches you many things about the land you might have missed. You become a really close observer.
Like what sort of things?
Specific things.
Yeah.
You're taking in every little thing you can from that experience. You start noticing, say, fresh rubs, places where bucks have rubbed their antlers on trees, leaving scent and visual markers.
Right, I've seen those. Saplings shredded up.
Exactly. Or you find scrapes areas on the ground deer paw out, usually under an overhanging branch they lick and rub their glands on.
Hmm,
Major communication hubs.
okay.
And you'll definitely see beat-down trails, the paths deer use consistently. These show you their travel corridors, how they move through the property.
So the sheds might draw you in, but you're finding all this other sign, too.
You are. Rubs, scrapes, trails, bedding areas, food sources they were using late season. It's all valuable intel.
And the source suggests not just seeing it, but acting on it. It says, even better, mark them on your map of choice, then get your brain working. Sit down and evaluate why they are located where they are.
That's the crucial step. It's not just observation.
Yeah.
It's analysis.
Asking why here? Why this trail? Why this scrape under this particular tree?
Exactly. Connecting the dots.
Mhm.
Understanding the patterns.
There's this really telling anecdote in the source material, too. The author says, some of my favorite areas or core areas on my farm came from a shed hunt that led me into my now called sanctuary.
That's powerful. A sanctuary, for context, is usually an area deliberately left undisturbed, where deer feel safe.
Mm.
Finding sheds might reveal where those core bedding or security zones are.
So finding those zones through shed hunting could totally change how you hunt the property the next fall.
Absolutely. It underscores the idea that a simple walk to find a bone could be a game changer for your next year in the stand. You could redefine your whole strategy.
Wow. Okay, so strategy's huge, but there's more, right? There's a mental side, an emotional aspect too.
There definitely is.
It's about getting a sense of mind about what deer made it through the year. That sounds really important for a hunter.
It provides a unique kind of reassurance, almost like closing a chapter on the previous season.
Can you give an example?
Sure, the source gives a really good one. Imagine you've been watching a specific buck all fall, maybe on your trail cameras. He's on your hit list, a mature deer you're hoping to encounter. But maybe he disappeared late season? You don't know if he survived the winter, hunting pressure, predators.
Yeah, that uncertainty would be tough.
Right. Then, while shed hunting, you find a fresh shed off one of my hit list bucks that haven't been active on trail camera.
Ah, proof.
Exactly. Proof he made it. The source says finding that shed means you can sleep much easier.
I can totally see that. It's confirmation.
It is. It raises this interesting point about the psychological relief shed hunting offers. It's data, yes, but it's also peace of mind. Knowing which bucks are still around lets you start planning for next season with more confidence.
That's a layer I hadn't really considered before, the emotional payoff.
It's significant for many hunters.
Okay, and there's one more major element. Our source highlights something it says should always be a constant when this time rolls around.
What's that?
Camaraderie. Connection.
Ah, yes. Very important.
For a lot of people, this isn't something they do alone. It's often a group activity, a social event almost.
That's very true. Whole families get involved.
The source describes it beautifully. Family, friends, and a few dogs out enjoying God's beautiful creation. And it suggests that finding a shed or even doing the scouting, while great, can sometimes be just icing on the cake.
The real value is this shared time outdoors.
Exactly. The experience together, making memories.
And it's such a perfect chance to instill the love for the outdoors in others, especially, as the source mentions, the little ones.
Passing it on.
Absolutely. You're not just looking for antlers. You're building traditions. You're teaching observation, patience, respect for wildlife just by being out there together. That connection to nature and to each other, that's often the deepest reward.
Yeah. The source shares a really personal memory that captures this. The author recalls, being a young boy all decked out in camo, running around with an antler in my hand is what comes to mind when I think about what sparked my love for the outdoors.
That says it all, really. How these experiences can shape a lifelong passion. It's about legacy.
It really is. So wrapping this up, it's pretty clear, isn't it? Shed hunting is way more complex than it looks. It's not just a treasure hunt. It's a key part of hunting strategy, getting that vital intel for next fall.
Definitely. It's active scouting.
It's great physical activity, keeping you connected to the land during the off-season.
Keeps you sharp. Keeps you moving.
It provides that mental peace of mind knowing which animals are still out there.
Huge psychological benefit for many.
And maybe most importantly for some, it's about connection. Shared time with family and friends in nature.
Building those bonds. Fostering that love for the outdoors.
So this deep dive really peeled back the layers, didn't it? Showing all that purpose and meaning tucked away inside what looks like a simple walk.
It truly did. It shows how something seemingly niche is actually this rich, multifaceted activity for those involved. It transforms, a simple discarded antler into something really valuable, part of a much bigger story.
So maybe the thought to leave you with is this. What does all this mean for you? Perhaps it's just a reminder that even activities that seem simple or niche on the surface can hold these unexpected layers of purpose, connection, maybe even discovery if you just take a moment to look a little deeper. It might just change how you think about just walking around for hours to find a bone.